this evening. Brian, are we all set? All right, cue it up.
Hello, Washington. I'm Semi Bird, and I'm running for governor. I've spent most of my life in service to our nation as a United States Marine and Army Special Forces Green Beret. I now find myself on the front lines of some of the greatest challenges facing our state. As someone who began his life's journey in the inner city ghetto of East Oakland, California, born to a single mom with 7 children, pre-civil rights, I know firsthand that the American dream is available for everyone. Through hard work and prayer, not helplessness and despair. I continue to serve our children and families of our community as a school board director and legislative representative. I do so because I know our children are our future, and that families and parents are the most important stakeholders in their children's upbringing, and that includes their education. Here in Washington State, crime and inflation are at an all-time high, while educational outcomes are at an all-time low. And how is our current state leadership responding to these concerns? By using our state revenues to increase spending, all the while imposing more taxes on our families who are struggling to make ends meet. By bringing forth bad policies which hamstring our law enforcement professionals and exposes our communities to greater dangers and greater threats. By bringing forth racially divisive policies and isolating us from our children's education. Isn't it time to replace career politicians with career Americans? My fellow Washingtonians, it is time for visionary leadership. It is time for a new direction. Join me, Republicans, Democrats, Independents alike. Let's stand together and focus on what we can all agree upon: safe communities, quality in education, and economic opportunity for all. Together, we will bring unity, leadership, and solutions with action to Washington State. My name is Semi Bird, and I'm running for governor for all of Washington. Remember, united we stand, together we can. God bless.
Yes, please. Please join me in a huge Patriots United welcome for Semi Bird.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Wow. There's so much I want to say. I want to spend the first 5 minutes just bragging about you guys and what you're doing and this beautiful man. I got to say, so I'm going to take a couple minutes on you. Here I am. This is November 11th, Veterans Day, and I was going to do an event. Well, we did an event in Olympia. I was speaking at a veterans event. I had some wonderful supporters there, and we praised our veterans for their service and sacrifice to our nation, because there would be no America without the American veteran, plain and simple. And I'm not saying that because I serve. But that morning, out of the blue, Mike Terry called me. I'm in my hotel room, and my wife was there, my daughter was there, and I don't know how long we spoke, because I don't usually stay on the phone with people like that. And this man is like a brother from another mother. We had so much fellowship. And the other day, someone said, "That Semi guy, he's religious." And I was like, really? I mean, they didn't say it to me. They said to someone else. I like him, but he's religious. And I stopped and thought about it. It's like, well, I love God. I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior in my heart when I was 14, and I try my best every morning when I wake up to be a better person. I believe in the Bible because it gives us left and right limits of how to perform as human beings. And in our society today, and I'm still with you, Mike, but we had so much fellowship, I could let myself come out. Right, and just have that fellowship and love of Christ. And I just want to say that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, as a governor, it's my job not to impose my opinion or my will on the people. It's my job to serve the people and to do the people's business, to do their will. That's what politicians are supposed to do. This is servant leadership. And I know I'm jumping all over the place, but hopefully I'm making some sense. But when you have Christ in your heart, you always strive to be a better person. You always strive to serve others. And what we have right now in our society, we are hurting as a society. We are hurting. We have placed politics above human decency and civility.
We can't even have an adult discussion, an educated discussion, without hating or disliking someone. You can't even run for office and in a very civil and Christian-like way without having people hurl lies. I mean, if you looked me up, you would never see anything negative about me for my entire life. But what happened? I ran for the school board. And the progressives, which I call the regressives, because there's nothing progressive about the liberal progressives. They are regressing our society back to slavery, right? And so when you run and you present something different, they don't care how black you are, right? Because they talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, diversity and inclusion. Trust me, as soon as they realized I was against critical race theory, that I knew that ruins lives, it ruins our society, it divides us. Oh, that bullseye was right there, neon, right? Probably glowed in the dark too. And so they came full guns, and they start attacking my old military history with the Marine Corps, telling half lies and this and this. But that's okay, right? That's okay. You know, you get a Purple Heart. You don't get it for getting your feelings hurt. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're talking about leadership, I just got to say, and again, I don't want to talk about medals and stuff like that. You can look me up, you can Google it, whatever. I did get a Bronze Star of Valor, and the Congressman Hastings presented it to me because they did a big story, and the state got involved because I turned down the Silver Star, and they said, no one turns down a Silver Star. Okay, well, you're taking a Bronze Star of Valor. Okay, sir, whatever. And so it says right there, leadership under extreme conditions. Right? It does say ultimately neutralize a more heavily armed threat, whatever that means. But you know, I usually like to give hugs. But my point is, I did what I had to do to protect my men. I did what I had to do to protect my team. Putting yourself on the line for others, willing to give your life in service to others, hey, that sounds a lot like Christian behavior, does it not? Putting yourself out there for others, willing to give all. And when I voted to end mask mandates, to give mask choice to our school district, which I got passed, and that's okay. Now comes the lawsuit, right? We're going to attack you, right? We're going to bankrupt you. We're going to ruin you, and then they're going to recall me. And I said, oh, bless your hearts. I really did, and I was just like this. Oh, bless your hearts. And the reason I said that is because this. I had a whole list of things that I said I was going to do when I got elected. Plain and simple. I've done every single thing I said I was going to do when I got elected. And I'm thinking about, President Trump. He did a lot of that too. And I'm not trying to give praise or anything else. I'm just saying it is a fact. His policies are based on what he said he was going to do. We need more of that in governmental office. We need people who talk the talk and walk the walk. I'm going to wrap in a minute. So this is something I want to present. This is not something I say, oh, I want to run for governor. Ooh, let's bring down hell on earth. No, I've already lived hell in combat, right? I've already done that. My first deployment, I deployed as a sniper. Not a fun job. Service to our nation, right? And then I deployed on the A-team as a Special Forces Green Beret, and we hunted high-value targets, right? And then I came back and I went to Special Forces Intelligence. And I learned some things. We call it tradecraft. And I did some things. And I went from being in the field with the beer to being in an embassy, working with other agencies. So I know a little bit about something. But here's what I know to be true. Integrity matters. Your word matters. Do not say something that you are not willing to execute upon. And that's what we need to come to expect from our candidates and from our elected officials. And I'm going to start to wrap up, but I want to say this, because I may not have a chance. You might have noticed I don't look like most Republicans. I have a different something going on. I don't know if it's my cologne. I don't know what it is, right? But I got to say, and I'm going to go there, because, Republicans never talk about race. We don't talk about race, and I know why. Again, back to Christian behaviors, we don't care. And if that is not honorable, noble, if that is not inclusion, I don't know what is. We do not care. Believe it or not, the Washington Post, the Times, Washington Times, D.C., Washington, they did a story, and I think the title was like, Black Conservative going to shake up the governor's race in Washington State. And, my friends got on there and says, my friend, he was a colonel, Special Forces colonel. He was my commander at one point in time, wonderful man. He says, this man is so much deeper than that title, than a label. And another friend says, don't put those labels. But again, I'm going to tell you, because in the Washington Times, he said, well, Mr. Byrd, you will be making history in Washington State if you're elected. I said, yeah, I will be the first black governor, but I'm an American. And then they said, well, Mr. Byrd, you will be the first black Republican elected governor in the history of the United States if you're elected. Oh yeah, you guys didn't know that? Yeah, that's a little something, But here's the thing. Why does it matter? Here's why it matters to me. Because it doesn't matter to me and it doesn't matter to you, but the other side makes it seem like it matters to you and it matters to me when it is not. I don't even know if I'm making sense. Right? So what do we have to do? What do I represent? What is different about me? What is different about me is God has put me where I need to be. With all this or whatever I am, that is God-given. My whole life, you start out in the inner city ghetto of East Oakland. I have two friends back there like, East Oakland, whoop, that's straight ghetto. That's what they said. Right? Law enforcement in Oakland, so they know exactly what's going on in there. And again, God put me there. God put me with a single mom with 7 kids. I'm not going to say God put me to drop out of high school at my 11th grade. No, that was me. but again, God puts us where we need to be. And did I learn something? Well, I'll tell you, I did go in the Marine Corps. And they slapped me around. I got busted because I got in a little fight because a person had a problem with my color. And that's all good. That's all good. But when you put hands on me, that's a whole different story. And so I had to calibrate the brother, and it's all good. And I got in trouble. I lost a little rank. I chipped paint off of submarines in Pearl Harbor for a few weeks. I went back. I got my promotion. I finished my Marine Corps tour of duty, got my honorable discharge. All right. I got out. Oh, I went in a boy. I came out a man. I went to college, my bachelor's degree, 4.0 summa cum laude. I'm not bragging. I'm saying when a child starts out, how we start out our life does not determine how we end our life. Right? And the important thing to understand is that is what others are trying to pitch, right? The black kid from the ghetto. This is why color matters in our discussion, right? All those barriers that they talk about. This is 2022, and all of a sudden we're learning about Jim Crow, about putting people back in chains. We're talking about voter suppression for blacks and this and that, and they're trying to divide. You see what's going on? Right? I'm the kid born with no civil rights. I'm going, what the heck is going on around here? We're supposed to be going this way, not that way. My life is a living testament to the greatness of God and the greatness of America, and make no mistake about it. So I'm gonna cut it off there because I want to hear Mike's questions. I want to hear from you. But just the message, you guys. I want to bring a message of unity. I want to bring us together. I want to let people know science, facts, history. Real quick so that you know, if you're a Republican in this room, understand, you are the party of Lincoln. You are the party of abolition. You are the party that ended slavery in America. You're the party who pushed civil rights over the border. Take back your history. Take back your history. I'm going to stop because I'm getting fired up. God bless y'all.